Saga, 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 re ma, re ma, re ma, re ma, ga pa, ga pa, ga pa, ga pa, ma da, 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 ma da. Mother, 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 motherfucker, mother, 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 motherfucker. Mother, 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 motherfucker, mother, 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 motherfucker. Fucker, fucker, fucker.
Cool.
Lunch is served.
So guys, I'm really thrilled to have all of you, the movers and shakers of the web world on FC Adda. I've spent the last year just being fascinated by web series. Everybody I know right now, it's the buzzword, right? I've acted into, okay, in and as Anupama. So I got you guys into this room to try and figure out what is going on. Just before we started shooting, Ashish was saying there's 38 OTT platforms launching. I was told 42 web series have already been rolled out. Any estimates on how many are on floors now under production?
I think double the number is under production.
Conservatively speaking.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
40 came out this year. So I think before that, I think only 2-3 came out. So this year 40 came out.
It's nuts. I mean, anyone I meet these days, and this includes some old colleagues from MTV, that if I ask him, what are you doing these days? I'm making a web series, and this includes the accountants. It's kind of crazy.
Ekta, first question to you. Because we know so little about ALT Balaji, there was big news all across the grapevine in all Bollywood offices that Balaji is now going to put a pause on film production and put all your muscle might behind digital. Is that the truth? What is the vision for ALT Balaji?
So actually, the films this year didn't do that well, but yesterday I was told that Naagin, one of our shows, went on to the South Indian channels and has become the #1 show in South, cross channels, the biggest hit ever. A show of ours called YHM has been sold worldwide 5 to 8 times. And I clearly think the universe is very large. To actually even understand, and now I think personally, I'll speak for myself, everyone, including my team, is hitting in the dark to actually know what the audience really want. We still are at the absolute nascent stages of the content boom that the digital world will see, because everyone from your driver to the urban Indian will be a part of this universe.
But Ekta, is there like a sort of plan to work towards in terms of just what the content will be? Have you decided that?
So although I can't speak much about it, and I always believe the content speaks for the brand more than the brand speaks for the content, So like when we had to launch ALT, I produced LSD. It just set up what the content would be like. What has happened on television is that from exploring urban mass, we have gone into rural mass. And a lot of digital platforms are exploring niche urban audiences. There's also a big section which is not catered to, which is your 27 cities, that's what I call, and the global Indian, who watches urban mass shows.
So, if anyone succeeded so far in the web, it's the three of you guys, Sumeet, you, Biswapati, you have really come forward and sort of set the bar with, and you two are in a sense really digital stars. I read an interview you gave about, so you were in English and nobody recognized you. And because you had a beard in that film also, but after Permanent Roommates, you were being stopped on streets, and I've seen this lovely BuzzFeed article about, if you like Sumeet Vyas, here are just pictures of him. I thought that was just fab. There's nothing else except just enjoy. So, what is the key? What is the key to creating this content?
I think we were just interested in telling a story that we would like to watch.
रितु का बॉयफ्रेंड हफ्ते में 4 दिन यहाँ पड़ा रहता है वो?
हाँ, okay, वो रहता है, but he never bothers me, okay, never.
Hey Tanya, Ritu is looking for you.
Excuse me.
I feel, I can speak for myself. I'm a fairly forgiving audience. I'm not the kind who doesn't like anything. I pretty much like everything. But still, there are some things that I like more. And I wanted to always be part of those things that I like more. So I was fortunate enough to find them, TVF, Biswapati Sarkar, and Arunab, and Sameer, and Nidhi, and I really like what they were making, and that's how it all started. I wrote to them, I said, I'd really like to work with you, having no idea as to what we were about to do. In fact, when we started writing the first web series that was made, we didn't know that how it would go and how long the episodes would be, and it was just more of an experiment. And as we started writing, we had more and more conviction into it, and we went with our conviction. That's how it all started, I'd say.
And is that the way then? Because that's what film people also say, isn't it, Ekta? Ashish, come in here from Yash Raj Films. The Y Films is a little different. You've described it as an indie startup within the kingdom of Yash Raj.
That's right, the startup inside the indie studio. So I don't know, I think we, having done broadcast earlier and having dealt with some of the classic MNCs where you get a lot of demographic, psychographic briefs, tier 2 towns, tier 3s where we want to talk to this woman called Meenakshi from Madurai who may not understand this weight, so all of that. I'm not sure if you can really look at when you're cooking content, slicing and dicing them through these Excel sheets. I think eventually you're trying to make content which will somewhere, how Sumeet put it, anyone with a beating heart, and these days of course with potentially a mobile phone, which is pretty much everyone including your bhai, and an internet connection. So I think different, water will find its own level, that content will plug in different things. You'll never know what will connect where. Because today the kids sitting somewhere in Ranchi is watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So it's not actually probably designed for them at all. And I've been really pleasantly surprised by some of the stuff that we've made that, really? You saw this? My mum-in-law really enjoyed watching Bang Baja Barat. Really? I thought it's really scandalous, outrageous content. It's a little more conservative compared to the other stuff we've done, but you like that, huh? Great.
Pawan? Sorry. Pawan?
Hi.
Hi. Shall we?
You don't want to talk?
Talk?
Yeah.
Why talk?
We can.
Come.
And I think that's the good thing about digital is the audience will find the content.
Yeah.
You don't need to like design it for an audience. The audience will, if the content is good, people will come to it. We just had reactions of permanent roommates from an American guy, and those videos are getting like close to 200,000 views in a week or 10 days. And I just did a Skype chat with him, and he found permanent roommates and pictures relatable, which is something I didn't keep in my mind when I was writing it. The fact that we've made it to an IMDb list is, I'm really embarrassed to say it, but we've made it to IMDb top 250 TV shows, and it's something which is very surprising that I'm very sure I'm not that good. I'm very sure that we are overrated. But then I think it's also because there is...
Yeah. You don't want to take a compliment. Biswa, just say thanks.
No, but I think it's also because we as an audience we've become very forgiving. I think now is the true time where we are actually competing with, like you say, a Game of Thrones, because everything is available everywhere.
And I think that I have to yet reach that point where I see a show either of mine or anyone else's like Game of Thrones. So that's the aspiration in life, to write not like Game of Thrones but with that kind of superb storytelling. I mean, yeah, they did it. Bringing Jon Snow back was a bit telepathic.
Yeah.
But
Even they do it.
I was like, I've been there, done that.
But tell me this, the one thing I hear constantly is that the writer is the most important person on digital, right? And I've discovered this on Film Companion, that it is literally the content. It's not just getting a star into the room. But in the film business, writers are usually the most powerless people on set. So, Ekta, let me ask you this. How are you going to empower writers? What will you not do?
I think I'm not really a film producer.
You think
I'm
you're a
TV producer. from the time we've done television, we were the first ones as a studio to change the model from actors being the highest paid to writers being the highest paid.
Really?
Television writers make more money than I think film stars today. Like a normal writer at one time who was writing 3 shows was taking home nothing less than 1 crore a month.
Guys?
I didn't know.
I want to do Naagin too.
You won't be able to do it.
I will learn master.
No, but so whoever was doing it, the people who writers, and that's why there are only 8 to 10 writers till now who've been writing television for so long. Clearly, it's not that people haven't explored the medium, but they've been shunned out because there is an audience and they have understood the adaptation of what their audience wants. I don't come from the film background where you pay the actors. In fact, it shocked me a lot 5 years ago when I was like, so what about the script? And everyone was like, yeah, but he said yes. So I'm like, and whenever we went ahead and did those projects, we lost a lot of money. So it was learning, then unlearning, and now learning again.
Ashish, has there been that unlearning for you at, I mean, I know you're a studio within a studio, but are there things about Bollywood that you can't bring to the net?
Fortunately, as YRF, the mothership is a fairly tightly run ship, and the so to speak, it's a great university of filmmaking. So the script has always been of prime importance, and it's always a project will first get commissioned when only after the script is in place. Once that script is locked, is after which is where the conversation is. Be it an Amir or a Salman will happen only after that. We'll never be in a situation where you'll commission, yaar ye aa gaya hai, ye writer बाद में देख लेंगे, but actor आ गया है, date मिल गई है, you got an event date, let's go. Of course, Y Films was driven a lot more by Jugaad, so a lot of favors, a lot of those pieces happen, and you figure a way to bring it in a little more efficiently, because I think, like Ekta mentioned, it's the quantum of content, not 5 shows, not 10 shows, when 50 shows come in, and that's already happening. Here's a crazy data point.
Yeah, I actually think this game is so new. It's like when television came in digital television came in 96, 95. Every 5 years its face changed. And that's what's going to happen in digital also. And luckily, everyone is so polarized. Like, I love permanent roommates. I can watch it any time of the day.
Well done. Round of applause.
And somebody else will watch something else on the net. Like another friend of mine watches something else, another show. And I didn't like that show so much. So it's like different audiences will find their content and stick on.
But you guys watch each other's stuff?
Of course, I love everything that these boys cook up. I avidly follow everything that these guys do. Completely. In fact, a lot of stuff that goes out there, and there's just so much content out there right now.
And so do we still need the stars?
He's also
You know,
a writer.
I know, but here I'm just talking about him as a star.
Okay.
Very cute.
Yeah, we'll keep him. You're being too quiet, Sumeet. You need to get in here.
No, people are talking stats, and I'm not very good with stats. So.
Is there, let me ask you this, is there the possibility of a star system in digital?
No.
Not at all.
I don't think so.
Bilkul nahi.
Not at all.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
No, I mean, it might get an initial impetus, but people will call your bluff. When they don't like something, like in Permanent Roommates, there was a particular episode which people didn't like, and they were pretty brutal and vocal about it. And it
Generally, we get 1 million hits. We got 1 million hits.
Yeah, and suddenly
Are you serious?
our morale went down that probably this show is closing. But then again, we pulled it back, and by the finale, we realized, okay, so they are satisfied. So you have to be on your toes. And of course, it had Sumeet and it had Nidhi, and it had the same team, the same cast and crew. But we did screw up somewhere, which is what people told us, that this is not.
But Biswa, to add to the stars system comment, so yes, like Nidhi and Sumeet weren't the stars that they are now when it kick-started.
Yeah.
So, but today the internet is also making those stars, and they do come to the table and bring a certain amount of fan base, loyalty, popularity, which certainly helps.
But you know what I find fascinating? That Ekta and YRF is so aggressively, you've already moved in, you are coming into the digital space, but TVF and also AIB wants to make movies. So why do you guys want to make movies?
I think there's no, like, I personally am not sure about whether I'll be able to write a great movie, because I think I'm still learning, and the focus is probably to tell a 2.5 story to check if we can do it. So that's the idea how we started. So we started with sketches, and then we thought, can we make a show? And then suddenly that worked, and then we did a show in a different genre, a slightly different genre. And I think the idea is probably that we've always had the ambition, like when we came to the city, we wanted to make movies. And the idea is, can we make a movie? Can we really get that together and make a movie that we want to make and not follow the traditional style of making films?
And that's what I like about TVF also is when I wrote for them also, the first thing that Arnab also told me is that write something that you really want to write, or tell a story that you really want to tell, and then we do it. So that's the spirit that, you know, they've kind of come back to the basics as far as storytelling is concerned. So everybody who was involved in every project that we've done, we recently did a project called Tripling. We had Rajesh Krishnan, he's one of the biggest ad filmmakers we have. Obviously we can't pay him his fee. Arnab kept saying कि इनके खाने का बजट होता है उसमें हमारा शो बन जाएगा. इनका catering का बजट ना होता है. But he was in it because he wanted to do it. So is the music director. So were we. Obviously we go out, if we do television or films, we charge way more than we would for the internet.
But Tripling's it looks really nice. I mean, it's got big production values.
Yeah, but still all the money was spent on making it rather than us charging a lot of money for.
You didn't have an entourage?
I don't have an entourage.
But Ekta, tell me, as somebody who's made TV and films and now will do digital, what are some of the rules of digital that and the truth is there are no rules, we're all just making it up as we go along, right?
Yes.
But what are the things that so you talked also about your films not doing well this year. What are the learnings of that you can apply to a digital platform?
So I think I can apply it to any platform, that you have to get your content in place before you make a movie or anything. On television, because we've been we clearly have the format right, that we keep the content above everything else. We managed getting probably this year the highest amount of success that we had in the last 8 years.
How many shows do you have on air right now?
I don't want to talk about it.
Come on, roughly.
12, 13 dailies.
13 dailies. But you know, Ekta, Ronnie Screwvala, who was one of the investors in Array, pulled out saying that first of all, there is no sustainable long-term business model right now for digital in India. But he also said that in a sense, digital is moving backward because there's not enough experimentation. And one of the things we hear constantly is that it's too much like TV. You know, it is the 22 minutes. It is. So how will you...
Is it like TV because it's 22 minutes?
It's aping TV too closely.
Like I said, I personally believe that till I don't put out the content, I will not be able to actually explain what I'm saying. But, and I don't want to say too much because it's like speaking before you do your job, you know. You should just do your job and then let the job do its job. But I definitely believe if digital is aping TV, then TV is the big daddy. But I actually, so you know, when we were doing some of our researches, they were telling, everyone asked me on my trip abroad that please create the same soaps that you've created on television, because on a lot of research, the #1 show on an XYZ app, I don't want to take names, is your show. On this app, because everyone is catering to the Twitter audience, nobody is catering to the Facebook audience, which are actually the bigger mass. So, and I actually felt that at the end of the day, if I'm doing anything like television, then why not I do television? I have my 35% profit margin already there. I don't think I even have to sell a story. I have to just go and make it, and I'm clearly managing scaling up also every year. So like I said, for me it's beginning like a newcomer. It's setting up a whole new type of content. I've grown up watching American television. I am obsessed with their story writing, and like I said, we may have things individualistic to our country, but I'm sitting in Warsaw and Andheri and watching a scandal and feeling I should be the one with the President of America. So I think that's the beauty of storytelling. If you can pull them into the world, that's good enough.
Especially the whole time slot, I think, with I think the last few episodes of Permanent Roommates in the first season and then Pictures, they were all really long episodes. And nobody thought that...
Like there was no precedent of an 1 hour episode.
And nobody thought that on the internet where, you know, everybody is trying to save their data and all of that, people would invest that much time and megabytes into watching a 40-minute long episode. But they did. Nobody thought that people would wait for 15, 20 days for your next episode. But they did, and they came back. They always did. They sometimes liked it, didn't like it, but they did come back because they were invested in the story.
तू क्या है? मैं एग्जीक्यूटिव रीजनल मैनेजर हूँ, नवीन बंसल हूँ, moka.com. अबे तू क्या है? क्या हूँ? एग्जीक्यूटिव रीजनल मैनेजर. क्या मतलब?
बियर है बैंचोद, बियर है तू. और ये बोतल जो है ना तेरी कंपनी है. तुझे लगता है तू ग्लास में जाएगा, बड़ा मजा आएगा, है ना? लेकिन ये देख रहा है, तुझे बोतल छोड़नी नहीं. बियर को ग्लास में जाने के लिए बोतल को छोड़ना पड़ेगा. एक बार तू बोतल से बाहर आ गया, फिर किसी भी ग्लास में जा सकता है. तू इस ग्लास में जा सकता है, तू इस ग्लास में जा सकता है, इसमें भी जा.
अरे जो वाइन ग्लास है बाकी क्या?
तुझे कैसे पता? तू तो बियर है ना बे, हैं? तू कहीं भी जा सकता है, समझ रहा है?
So I think somewhere what digital has done is it has got us back to the drawing board and made us believe that we need to get back to the basics a little bit. We need to, you know, genuinely tell a story that we want to tell and be have that conviction that people would want to watch it.
What I'm actually surprised with is, was there an alternate way to that where you don't tell a good story and still it works? I've always been surprised that when I came to Bombay, a lot of people said to me, script अच्छी होनी चाहिए. I said, is there a different way? कि script बुरी है फिर भी हो जाता है क्या मतलब?
But you know, there have been bad scripts that have run, that have, I mean, in the movies.
No, but
Yeah.
then
In the movies,
exceptions only validate the rule. Then I would say that.
I
probably,
have
yeah.
sat in a, sat in board meetings. I've written a couple of film scripts, and I was sitting with a bunch of MBAs who were talking about the script. और उन्होंने कभी चिट्ठी भी नहीं लिखी है किसी को. And I was open to listening to the output, but this was not related to the story. And after 15 minutes, I zoned out. I don't know what they're talking about. What are we here to do? And they spoke numbers, they spoke stars, they spoke brands, and everything besides the story. And I was like, clearly, this is the least important thing here. Whereas when we sit on the drawing board and we sit on our script discussions, that's all we talk about. So this is what I really like about the internet. This spirit is it's so much fun, where you get back to the board and you do something that you came here to do.
Ekta, I know you're not going to tell us anything about what your shows are like, but as a content creator, I find your stuff fascinating because it's so schizophrenic. I mean, it's really hard to reconcile LSD with Kyuki Saas or Naagin
With Urta Panja.
or Urta Punjab, exactly. So I know you said it's a middle ground, and I know you're not going to give me an inch, but kuch to hint do, no? What is it?
See, I think there's a lot of me. I'm every woman, it's all in me. I actually believe that. So there's a family side to me, and what I watch at home is not exactly what I'll watch in my bedroom. And what I watch in the theatre, which is communal viewing with my friends, is not really what I want to watch when I'm alone. And I feel these are three different sides of us that we're going to explore. So communal viewing, family viewing, and individual viewing. Now it's for Balaji, we may succeed, we may not. It's our getting into what we call individual viewing. So like a lot of times there's so many stories I want to tell, but I know that this story will not resonate because we as Indians live on a high moral ground. What we want our children to believe of us, or families to believe, is very different, and it's a lot like this. And India never had a second TV home, so everything is everyone watching together. But when you're watching something alone, you have the luxury to enjoy a self-exploration and a self-understanding. It's not communal, it's not family. So it's going to be that exploration for us.
Also borrowing from her, watching anything on the internet, be it on your phone or your laptop, on your tab, is such a personal experience. It's almost like reading a book. you know, where it's just you and the content. Whereas when you watch something on television or in the theatre, you're always influenced by so many other things. And how is everyone else liking it? And somebody comes in, and you can pause, you can go back, and so it's a really personal experience, and you do not miss out on anything. You don't want to if you are invested in it, which is fascinating, which is the biggest strength of the internet content, that you can actually go as subtle and as low and as minute as you want when you're creating content for the internet, because you know that people watching it, most of them are having a very, very personal experience, and they're going to enjoy it in their own way.
So good things to come.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Good things to come. Okay, last question. You talked about 5 years, it'll be new kids, new generation. Next 1 year mein kya hoga, Ashish?
Honestly, Anupama, I wish anyone knew. If anyone tells you otherwise, they are lying through their teeth. So nobody knows what's going to happen. Kisi ko kuch nahi pata.
It's the classic film line,
So
no?
classic,
Nobody knows anything.
Absolutely. So I don't think anyone has a clue. But I certainly see a shitload of content coming our way. A shitload of players coming our way. Along with that will come a tsunami of garbage across. Some of it will hopefully also be a great platform for fresh talent, both on screen as well as behind the scenes. Somewhere buried in that garbage, we'll find a couple of diamonds which will pop, who we should be really looking out for and excited about.
I think one thing which won't change is again the typical good story, the good content thing. Like we'll have say BBQ Wines is really popular. It's just a kid from in Delhi filming himself inside the house. He's huge. He's probably a bigger star than anybody on the internet right now. But while a BBQ Wines will exist, there will be people who will continue telling stories, and that will still continue to happen. So apart from the breakout stars, I think these shows and the new stories will keep coming out. I think the way I see, we'll all be connected to the content across devices. So that 9 p.m. Slot will probably disappear. So at 9 p.m. every night, I can watch anything that I want to. And when that happens, I think people will automatically start flocking towards the good shows, because the word of mouth will spread and everybody will say, "Yare, wo show dekha," and so automatically I think the good content will be filtered out from the lot. So that is something which is going to happen, is what I see in the next 5 years.
Sumeet, what excites you for the next year? Both as a writer and an actor.
Definitely different genres of shows, because I think so far on the internet, people have been kind of doing the same genre of shows,
so
the rom-com and the funny kinds. More genres will be dabbled into, and I would definitely like to be part of a horror or a thriller or a action or animation, or because it definitely has the space for it. So the next 1 year, hopefully that will happen.
Ekta, for you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be again a lot of content. We'd be out with our app, so you'll know exactly what we've done. I seriously don't think anyone here will really know what's going to happen, because it's going to be quite shocking. It's going to be, I have sat on these kind of panels as a 20-year-old, then a 25-year-old, and I have seen that everything I also said in that chair after a year would change. So 5 years by, I was like, did I say that? No, that was not me. You guys recorded someone else. So I think, like he said, one thing is true, that there is no appointment viewing anymore, at least for urban India. Small towns, yes, they will have appointment viewing, because that's almost family time now. It's almost like reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change. But yes, for a lot of people it will change. Good content, I think, always survives. So it's still at 9 o'clock you have 20 shows. You have 108 channels. You have 108 options anyways at 9 o'clock. So that too doesn't go. That is going to happen. And I definitely believe that everything we spoke today will have no bearings 1 year.
Nobody has any idea what we're talking about.
We will be just sitting and saying, okay, who's he? Who's this new player who came from nowhere? And as I said, I would be very welcoming, because the whole idea of this exploring a whole new medium is probably getting to know if you can.
Yeah. And all of it is good news for us consumers, because we just have more choices. So it's all win-win for us. You guys get to work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you like this video, hit the button below
And subscribe to Film Companion.